This week's channel message from the angels is telling us that we've reached a new stage or opening in our ascension, that we are moving into the possibility of instant manifestation, which is super exciting. Welcome back to my channel, you guys. I am so glad you're here. Thank you so much for joining me each week when I share these messages. And for those of you who are new here, welcome. My name is Ann Tucker. I am a trance channel. And by that, I mean I go into a deep meditative state or trance. And from there, I raise my awareness up as high as I can go. And I go a little higher. I connect at the angelic realm. And then messages and healing comes through. And I share it here with you guys on YouTube. And this week's message is one in a long series of messages where they've been giving us a week by week, play by play update on where we are in the process of our ascension and the shift of our own consciousness. And they've been speaking into what our experience has been, what we can be expecting, how we can best work with these energies. So this week is a super cool message because apparently, and they've been talking to us for a while about this possibility of instant manifestation and releasing our karma, letting, like we're supposed to be getting to a place where we are no longer creating through our karma. And that place is now that we have now reached a place where we are able to do that. And that doesn't mean we necessarily will be doing it 100% of the time, but that opportunity is there. And they're telling us in this message, not only encouraging us to do it, telling us how to do it, and telling us how they're going to support us. So it's a beautiful message. I think you guys are going to love it. I also want to let you know, if you if you do not yet have a regular healing practice, or if you would like to add to your healing practice, we do have Peace Bathing this Sunday. Peace Bathing is a monthly group healing session that I run with the angels. And these sessions they're deep, they're powerful. Each one is different, and they are speaking directly to what's going on in the times around us. So last month's session was a beautiful clearing that people are able to use ongoing to help them whenever they feel like they're impacted by anything, when they are feeling negativity, they can go back and use this particular session. And I think it was such an important session that for any of you who join for this month, I will automatically send you the recording to last week's session. So you have that as part of your toolkit. The angels have said, continue to use it until it no longer works. So use it as long as it's making you feel better, continue to use it. So it's definitely a powerful, powerful session. I think you're going to love it. So anyways, I hope you enjoy today's message. Here we go. They say, blessings. We come forward now to tell you how we breathe and do and live, what we would entail upon you now, what we would give. We wish to breathe into you now a song of our assembly, of all we've been and how we rise into the sun again. We wish to be beneath you all in this trying tide of oncomings, to stay your way and make a place for peace within your hearts, to let you feel yourselves unbridled again within the realm of earth passings, to settle into a rhythm of being that exists beyond the penchant for externality, to bring internal with our words your hearts a field now open. Lay down into the space of your encountering all that would bridle and reveal itself to you now. Let this time of passing shame and anger linger no more. Open yourselves into a world of manifestations glorious and foretold. Let the sphere of your own beginnings expand to include the now moment. The staying time of these expressions can linger in your world no more. Let this self fall into an assemblage of beingness that encounters the now in each second, and falls forward into new beginnings which with each breath hold. Know yourselves to be in glory. Feel the light pour through you. Stay in the now, in the knowing that you are encountering yourself in divine nature. Feel this light and its physicality without encumbrance, without diminishment. Stay and play your life and feel yourself lifting into this next beginning. It comes, it arrives, you are here now. It is held or helped by our whispers. Feel yourselves the next now, the next opening, how it is lifted, How you settle no more into grievances you've encountered, but feel the self-transportable. How you can rise more easily, sense your own heart's more light. It comes again, we whisper. Upon your foreheads we place a blessing, a sense of us, a sense of pulling down the light into your field, a sense of harnessing your own power, your power to feel the light on earth, to sense it now before you, to feel its encumbrances lifted and your own beingness exploring itself within the realm of all possibilities. Sense and see how things conform now to your wishes, how the light pours through you, how you feel the earth a welcoming port of call for this existence, how it serves you welcoming. Let it become safe harbor in trying times, and recognize that you are filled with light. You are filled with love. The dance of these days cannot pale in the shade of such a one as yourselves. Being with us now calls to you down and through your awareness a sense of satisfaction and shape of things to arrive, a sense of self as amplifying your light. Become aware now in your efforting to achieve the now that we are here nearby, that you need only call upon what we are and we are felt. In this partnership, we merge and blend, and your feelings are portrayed through our instantaneous expressive nature. We amplify what you are, and the world acknowledges you are here and shows you what you are in golden rays of delightful expression. Let this happening be encountered, be revealed, be expressed, be perceived. You are ready. You are ready to receive the blessings of your nature. Opening hearts expand and exemplify your internal world. Your beingness is seen by all who are near you. We love your nature, your expression, your sense of satisfaction in being revealed. And pleasantly surprised, you will find your nature unfolds with graceful abandon. So really different message from what we've received lately, and so beautiful. And so it feels like there's something about this, like we have made it. Like there's something that they're telling us here is like, it feels like we have made it past some big hurdles. And it doesn't mean that we're done, like we're never done. It doesn't mean that we're finished. It doesn't mean that there still isn't the opportunity to clear and make changes. It just means that we've arrived to a new state where new things are possible, where clearing is easier, where we can, they're talking about how we have the opportunity, as we're trying to clear what's in our way, to just literally lay it down and express from a place of clarity of who we are into our reality, and that it will meet us, that we can see ourselves, our true nature expressed in front of us, and that the angels are going to amplify that. So it is this idea of like instant manifestation. And I will tell you, this is happening in a really real way in my world right now. Like it's, like I said, it's me. I can see it around me and my family. I can see things being wrapped up in a neat little bow. like I said, both my kids, I see them finishing karmic patterns, resolving those. It is a really, really interesting time. And like I said, don't stress it if you're like still in a place where you're like, man, I'm still in a crunchy place. Like understand that is super okay. And that means that you are trying to clear, like we're trying to work through as much as we can right now. So you may be just a little more ambitious than the rest of us. You may be like, no, wait, I can do 5 more things. So all of you type A spiritual people out there, but there is, even in that, there is the opportunity, they're saying, to, like I said, to take it, to look and to explore and to see and to lay it down, and then to recognize we can express ourselves in a clearer way without the encumbrance of all of our negative beliefs and negative patterns, and to see what that then creates in our world. And so, like, how many of you have had crazy instant manifestations lately? And I know you have, because we talked about this a week or two ago, and a lot of you were like me, many of you have. And these might be really simple, easy things. Like the things that you're going to have the instant manifestation on is the things that you're not in the way of. So it's the stuff that you don't have any baggage around, where it's easy for you to imagine it being true. That's where it's going to show up first. And so we want to be watching for it and noticing it. That's another thing they've been telling us, is to be aware and to watch it and to believe it, like to start recognizing where it shows up, because then we create pathways and grooves for that expectation of more to come. And you're saying some of you are joining in. It's great to have you guys joining. Hello, Linda. I'm glad you could make it. Hi there, Jean. Yes. And you're saying you can manifest anything for this summit. Oh, thank you so much, Jean. Yeah, it is going to be, the Spirit Summit is going to be awesome this year. Rebecca's saying, wow, trying times of upcomings. Yeah, right. I know. And glad you could make it, Brandy. Hi. Yeah. So it is a beautiful, very poetic message. So let's break it down and talk about what they're saying here. They start out and they say blessings. And so this whole message is really like, it's repetitive in some ways, because they say it several times through here, but the whole thing is about blessings, that they are giving us blessings, that we are expressing blessings into. It's all about the good stuff. This message is about the good stuff of receiving amazing blessings in our life. So they start out blessings in one word: receive them, have them, be them, blessings. They say, we come forward now to tell you how we breathe and do and live, what we would entail upon you now, what we would give. And so the angels that are here with us are in service to us and our journey. That is what they're here for. So they're saying how we breathe and do and live. They breathe and do and live in support of us and our journey, right? What we would entail upon you now, what we would give. So this is their whole purpose. Their whole reason for being here right now is to support us. They say, we wish to breathe into you now a song of our assembly, of all we've been and how we rise into the sun again. So they're trying to show us. So they've told us before that the angels ring in the dawn, that every morning, and there's a whole message on this. If you Google on YouTube, on this channel, about the bringing in the dawn, you'll see it. There's a whole message. They talked about how they do it, and that the dawn, the energy of the dawn, is all about renewal and new beginnings. And so they're saying here, of all we've been and how we rise into the sun again. So they are trying to infuse us, to bring to us this energy right now about new beginnings, that we are a fresh start, that we have a new opportunity to be and live differently in our world. So that's what this message is about. First, they're saying they are here in service of us, that we are prepared to be and live and experience blessings. And they want to show us the feeling with breathing into our life, breathing into our worlds, the energy of new beginnings. That's the first paragraph. So we are off to a good start in this message. Like, this is good news. We are loving it so far, right? And Martha's saying, so true. My kids are talking more with each other. That is awesome. Yeah, it is amazing. So notice it. Like we gotta be the ones that see it, that see the things that are changing, see what's showing up differently, because the more we see it, the more there will be, right? We have to start creating those pathways of opening, giving our awareness. Our awareness is creative. What we pay attention to expands. All right, next paragraph, they say, we wish to be beneath you all in this trying tide of oncomings. And so they're saying, yep, this is all amazing, beautiful blessings. You're creating your reality. And there is some suckiness on the horizon. And we know that. They've been talking to us about this for a long time, about some of the difficulties that are coming. And I'll tell you guys, I was mentioning it before, that I have been going through all the past messages and starting to put them into a book format. There's one that is going to be all about navigating the ascension, which has all the messages about the ascension, and then another one that's all about how to work with the angels. So like giving all the healings they've given us, like how they can help us, how we can help them, all that kind of stuff, how we incorporate them more into our lives. So there's really, the messages group themselves beautifully into one or the other. But one of the things that, as I've been looking, that I've been seeing is a lot of messages about the trying tide of oncomings, and stuff that I didn't even, like at the time, I was like, oh, that's interesting. Like the one I read just the other day, they were talking about a crazy increase in tornadoes, which at the time I thought, oh, that's random. But now it's like every day on the news, there's tornadoes everywhere. Like in the US, I'm talking about, we're getting crazy numbers of incredibly destructive tornadoes. So yeah, so it's just, there's a lot in there, and trying times for sure. But within the trying times, to stay your way and make a place for peace within your heart. And here, to stay your way, so stay has, of course, two meanings. One is to stay is to stay in the same place. They said they want us to stay engaged. They want us, three meanings actually. They want us to stay in our life, to stay engaged, to continue putting energy into our lives here. Super important, because even as the world is changing, our energy is what pulls forward. So if we're investing in something, in the energy of something, that energy will carry forward, even if the circumstances or the particular expression of that energy becomes different. So to stay your way, stay investing. Number two meaning is to stay also means to curb or check. So this means that to curb or check your way. So this would be referring to the negativity that we want to drop, the difficulties that we want to let go of, right? To curb or check, to change, to leave behind whatever it is we don't want to carry with us. The third meaning of to stay is biblical. And apparently I am not a Bible scholar, anything but it did say, as I looked it up in the dictionary, that it said the biblical meaning of stay is to be trustful. So to stay your way, right? In one little phrase, stay your way means keep investing in your life, let go of all the things that are detrimental to your experience, and trust in your path forward, right? And make a place for peace within your hearts. And peace is almost synonymous with angels. Make a room for angels in your heart. To let you feel yourselves unbridled again within the realm of earth passings. And unbridled mean unconstrained, right? To be unconstrained again within the realm of earth passings. To settle into a rhythm of being that exists beyond the penchant for externality. So this means like to settle into a rhythm of being that exists beyond the penchant. Penchant is like habitual liking, and externality is like everything outside of us. So to settle into a rhythm of being that exists, that in other words, where we're not so focused on our external life, where we're not led by the illusion of our reality, where we are aware, where we've woken up and realized that we create our reality, that our external reality is just a reflection of what we are inside. So to settle into a rhythm of being that exists beyond the penchant of externality. So where we are constantly in that spiritual perspective, understanding our reality is just an expression of who we are, right? The next line here is to bring internal with our words, your heart a field now open. So this is just saying using the angels to help us to open our hearts. All right, next paragraph. They say, lay down into the space of your encountering all that would bridle and reveal itself to you now. And to bridle means showing resentment. There's so many like angel words of the day this time. It means showing resentment or anger. So laying down into the space of your encountering. So laying down in your current now, the space of your encountering is like the present moment, what you're experiencing. Lay down everything that's going to bring up anger or resentment. So lay it down, and everything that's going to reveal itself to you now, everything that would bridle or show anger and resentment and reveal itself to you now. So all the things we're trying to clear, be prepared to lay them down. So don't get stuck in story, don't get stuck at explaining. And they've given us a lot of tools to help us heal and help us release them. But try to get to a place where you're ready to just literally lay them down and don't feel like you have to carry them any longer. Let this time of passing shame and anger linger no more. And I like the fact that they say that this is a time of passing. It's not that, yes, we're in it, but the whole point is to move through it and to let it go. They say, open yourselves into a world of manifestations, glorious and foretold. So, and I love that. They said, and they've been foretold us because they've been telling us that we're going to be able to have this. And there's been lots of like, I think every religious text out there talks about sort of a golden era, golden age, or, a wonderful time where we have heaven on earth and this kind of thing, right? And I think it's coming. And they say, let the sphere of your own beginnings expand to include the now moment. The staying time of these expressions can linger in your world no more. So here, let the sphere of your own beginnings expand to include the now moment. So what they're saying here is we've been expecting this change to come. They're saying, let it be now. Let that expectation of new beginnings, this whole thing of the dawn that we were talking about, of this starting energy, this new beginning, that is what the angels breathe into us, this energy of new starts, let it expand to include now, that it is starting now, right? Super, super cool. And Karen says, what do you do when you have old patterns of fear arising? Example, fear of financial upheaval. It's such a great question, Karen. And because you are not alone, if that is what you're experiencing, there's that lots of people are working through their stuff. And the fact that it's coming up for you, it means that you're ready to let go of it. So the idea is that wherever it's coming from, if you are having stuff rise up, whether it's fear or anger or whatever it is, the first angel, the tip that they have given us is to recognize the emotion, but not fear the emotion. So within that there's going to be something rising up for you. And we have a tendency to look at that emotion that's coming up and be afraid of it. So you might have fear of finances, which there's going to be something underneath that because money is just an energy. Money in its physical form, money is just paper, coin, right? Or it's numbers in a bank account. It's nothing real. So underneath that, there's going to be something about not being safe, right? Maybe it's safety. It might have something to do, could be, like I said, fear of safety, fear of having enough, fear of, it could be the feeling of, am I a failure or a success? So some people define how good they are based on what they've earned or what they haven't earned, right? So there could be layers to this. So the key is not to be afraid of those feelings. So have the feelings and don't be afraid of them. So you can look at them and say, okay, yeah, I have this feeling of worrying about my safety, or worrying that I will have enough, or worrying that what it says about me. Is it something about, my abilities or my worthiness or whatever it is? So the key is, if you can let go of the fear of the feeling, try to get to the root core of what it is that's underneath it. Like, why? Why do you feel like you need money, right? Why do we need it? What does it do for you? And what is the fear of not having it? What does that bring up for you? And try to get to the root of that. And then once you get, and it's going to be different for different people. And once you get to the root of that, then try as best as you can to let yourself really engage with that particular emotion and let it come up. And if there's stories to it, just make space for it. Some people want to journal this. Some people want to just go through it in their imagination, go back into feelings, see what comes up for you. Let yourself fully feel it. And this is this idea of laying it down into the present moment, of let it all come up and be witnessed. And the thing you want to do is, there is nothing in your outside world that's going to give you the satisfaction that you're seeking when you're trying to heal your wounds. There's nobody apologizing. There's nothing anyone can do for you to fill you up. The only thing that's going to fill you up is your own recognition and belief that your experience is real. So you want to go into that fear, that feeling, that anxiety, whatever it is, and acknowledge it and tell yourself out loud even, this is real. My feelings are valid. I have these feelings because I had an experience where I was left alone, or where I didn't have enough, or where I felt like we were impoverished, or where I felt like I wasn't successful, or whatever it was, that this really happened. And to make space for yourself to be the witness to that distress that you experienced, to be your own witness, and to hold yourself in that space and recognize it was bad, right? It was worse than you're imagining. It was bad. It was a bad feeling. And to take the space and the time to acknowledge that. And then when you make space for the feeling, you allow it to come forward. It doesn't have to keep saying, but wait. It's like when we don't acknowledge our feelings, it's that sense of like never being heard. And when we're unheard, we tend to wad, and that resentment just sits there like a little canker. So this is a process. Give yourself time to do it. And the goal is, if you have a really intense feeling, is to go into that feeling like you would dive into a wave and let it wash over you. Let it expand, reach for it. Try to feel it as hard as you can. Fill up your entire body, your entire field. If it helps to visualize it as a color and see it filling up your whole field, until you can't find it anymore, and keep expanding it, expanding it, expanding it, making it as big as you can. Feel it like intensely, as hard as you can, until finally you find that you just can't. You're trying to find it, and it's like it just dissipates. It dissipates, and then it's gone. So it's a self-healing process. The angels did give us, they walked us through this process. They did a healing, and it's on the YouTube channel. You guys can go back and find it. But they walked us through a beautiful self-healing process you can use to do this. But that is what I would suggest. And they're saying now the time is ripe. So whatever triggers you're having coming up are ready to be set down. And that's anytime you have a trigger, it's because you've worked your way to a point. See those triggers as proof that you have graduated, proof that you have moved up in your vibration, because now there is something discordant in your vibration that you are ready to let go of. So every little trigger is proof that you have made your way forward, and those triggers are ready to be released, right? So that's all it is. It's all for us. Everything is for us. Yeah. And you're saying very helpful. I'm so glad. Thank you, Karen. And you're saying, yes, my childhood, I felt that. Fear our family was going broke, would lose everything, very unsafe. So that is beautiful. So go back into that and remember that as a child, money doesn't mean anything. What it means is, are my parents going to be okay? Will they be able to take care of me? What will happen to my parents? What will happen to my family? Right? Go into that childhood fear. And work through, allow it to be expressed, to be felt. Like I said, like give it presence and recognize that it was bad. Like acknowledge, like don't sugarcoat it. Let it be as hard as it was, and be the witness for yourself. Yeah. And Carrie's saying, my fear regarding money is more tied to control and freedom. It's awesome that you're sharing that. Thank you, Carrie, because it's true. It's going to be it's going to trigger different things in everybody. You're saying not believing others should have so much control over everything we do. That is powerful, very powerful realization, Carrie. Thank you for sharing it. And Amina says, yes, sometimes we are afraid to lose someone, afraid of the sadness. The angels told me just recognize and acknowledge my sadness and not be afraid of it. Exactly. It was actually, so Amina is part of the Golden Circle. And so it was her session I was thinking of when I brought it up. So thank you so much for sharing that, Amina. Super, super cool. And Mike says, for me, the only currency is the flow of my own energy and how I use it. And that is beautiful, beautiful. Rebecca says, totally agreed. Karen says, yes, I feel like I have been trying to override the fear instead of feeling it. Thank you so much. That is so awesome. And that is what we do. We do try to override it because we have the feeling we have to cope. Like we've got to show up in our life, and how can we show up in our life if we're overrun? Like the fear is that this feeling is going to take us over and make us not able to cope, which is not true. Is that if you really allow the feeling to come up, 90 seconds and it'll be gone. So that's the key, is to just engage with it, right? To not run from it, to engage with it. So thank you so much for asking. I really appreciate your vulnerability, your willingness to share your own personal experience, because we all have our junk and we are all working through it. And it is just a sign that you have moved up in your frequency and you're ready to let down old patterns. So it's really, really cool. All right. So next paragraph, they say, let the self fall into an assemblage of beingness that encounters the now in each second and falls forward into new beginnings with each breath hold. So I love this because they are so careful in their words, right? The way they describe this is not striving. And they have said in one of our past messages just recently to not strive, to not strain. They said, let the self fall, right? We're literally it's about allowing. Everything is about allowing. It's about the thing that we have been in. Any kind of striving is a resistance to what is. So we can't be struggling to get to our future expression. We have to fall into it. Like anytime we struggle, anytime we stretch or strive, we are in resistance to what is, and resistance is a negative energy, right? Resistance is contraction. It's the closing down of things, and we're trying to get to a space of openness. So the only way to do it is to open and release, which means to fall into our future, right? Let the self fall, and think about the incredible metaphor there about the trust fall, right? So we have to get back into that space where we can fall and trust that we're going to be held. Let the self fall into an assemblage of beingness. So in other words, we're not alone. An assemblage. There's going to be us, the angels, our guides, right? An assemblage of beingness. Fall into the arms of our guides and angels that encounters the now in each second and falls forward into new beginnings with each breath hold. So this is that idea that they're saying this, the new dawn, this new beingness, we're falling forward into it, releasing, allowing all of this with each breath hold. So the breath, the idea of the breath is our life. The breath is our expression. Know yourselves to be in glory. So they're saying like, this is ready for us now. We are ready for it. They say, feel the light pour through you. Stay in the now, in the knowing that you are encountering yourself in divine nature. You feel this light and its physicality without encumbrance, without diminishment. So in other words, you can start to feel the more that we are able to let go of whatever it is that we're currently working through, and to fall into our future through in the space of trust, then we are expressing ourselves without the encumbrances and diminishments, which is like our karma, right? So this is how we're in the process of releasing our karma, right? They say, stay and play your life and feel yourself lifting into this next beginning. So it's like, it's not struggle, it's not strife, it's play. Totally different framework from what we have always been. Think about like the ethos of like work hard, play hard. Like you got to struggle. It's got to be, hard work. Money doesn't grow on trees, right? Like it's everything that we have been rewarded for struggle, that struggle is somehow glorified. And they're saying, not anymore. They're saying, let go of the whole concept of struggle, because struggle is resistance. Struggle is fighting against what is. And we want to be in a space of falling forward into glory. Like how amazing. How amazing is that? Yeah. All right. Next paragraph. They say it comes, it arrives. You are here now. So it's like, this is available to us. And like I said, don't stress out if you're not feeling it, because we're not going to feel it all the time. We're going to be able to hold this. It's all about frequency, and it's super, super hard to hold new frequencies. We just finished talking about struggle, but it is. It's hard to hold a higher frequency. Like I think I told you guys that when I first started channeling the angels, it was like pressure on my head, like intense pressure. It was hard to hold that frequency, and I could only hold it for a while. And like if I go back and listen to, I have a series of recordings. When I first started trans-channeling, they told me I was going to bring through these 9 angelic frequencies, and they're all recordings, and each frequency does something different, and they're all amazing in their own way. But the first one you can hear in my voice. I had to hold that frequency for 90 minutes, and you can hear my voice shake. And by the end, after doing this for 9 months, it was like butter, right? It was flowing. So it just took me a while. It took a while for me to be able to hold that frequency. And that's the case. So as we're going through this, expect that you will have periods where you are able to hold a higher vibration, and then times when you'll drop down. So we will be in periods where we are just like expressing our divine light and living this amazing best life. And then there'll be periods where it's like, and I just, almost got in a car crash or whatever it is. Like it's going to be times when it's not that. So, and that's okay. Like it's just a process. It's a process of moving through it. And to whenever those down moments happen, the key is not to let them get the better of you. Don't start sinking back into, oh boy, I'm not good enough. I'm not doing it right. I'm like, no negative self-talk allowed is the new message. No negative self-talk. And Glenn says, now constantly saves me from fear with the simple question, how am I right now? The answer is always perfect. That is awesome. Awesome. Yeah. So they say, all right, it is help. You say it is, you are here now. It is helped by our whispers. Feel yourselves the next now, the next opening, how it is lifted, how you settle no more into grievances you've encountered, but feel the self transportable. So, and this is like be our awareness. Again, they're really stressing to be aware of even the smallest things that go right, and how by recognizing the small things, we are transportable. In other words, we can bring more of our frequency into that higher vibration. So through putting our awareness on the good stuff, we bring more of that good stuff into our world and increase our ability to hold the higher frequency. How you settle no more into grievances you've encountered, but feel the self-transportable. How you can rise more easily, sense your own heart's more light. It comes again, we whisper, upon your foreheads we place a blessing. And so this is, they mentioned again, blessing. And this blessing is this idea of new beginnings. That's what this blessing is all about, that we are in a space of new beginnings. A sense of us, a sense of pulling down the light into your field, a sense of harnessing your own power, your power to feel the light on earth. So this is really like they're talking about your divine spark when it's not encumbered by all the karma. Like, what is it when you are truly just pulling that expression of yourself, which is bringing in that higher self and expressing that out into the world and seeing it reflected back to you. And it creates a beautiful reality of, it can be instant manifestation. To sense it now before you, to feel its encumbrances lifted and your own beingness exploring itself within the realm of all possibilities. So amazing, like an amazing idea. And that this is true, that this is ready for us now. Sense and see how things conform now to your wishes. There we go. How the light pours through you. How you feel the earth, a welcoming port of call for this existence. How it serves you. Welcoming. Let it become safe harbor in trying times and recognize that you are filled with light. You are filled with love. The dance of these days cannot pale in the shade of such a one as yourselves. So this I love, is they're acknowledging that, yeah, all of this good stuff is coming through you, pouring through you, and we are going to be facing difficulties, and there will be, some dark days. But they say, recognize that you are filled with light and you're filled with love. And the dance of these days, in other words, the difficulties to come, cannot pale in the shades of the dance of these days is like how are we going to live these days? How are we going to express our joy in these days? Dancing is about expression of life and joy and love and all the things. It's expression. And it cannot pale, right? It can't even be dimmed, even with all the chaos coming, when it's in the shade of one such as yourselves. So in other words, that your light is over all of it. And so it can't pale. It's going to be seen in beautiful expression because you are a beautiful creature, right? You are a divine light. So they're speaking to our ability to move through the difficult times and still feel like we are living a glorious life, which is kind of amazing. Being with us now calls to you down and through your awareness, a sense of satisfaction and shape of things to arrive, a feeling of self as amplifying your light. Become aware now in your efforting to achieve the now that we are here nearby, that you need to only call upon and we are at what we are and we are felt. So they're really saying lean on them, let them help us, right? That they are, and I like this part, a sense of satisfaction and shape of things to arrive, be a feeling of the self as amplifying your light. So they're asking us to try as much as we can to be satisfied with where we are, to recognize the beauty in where we are, and to really try to train our awareness to see it, right? To see the satisfaction in the shape of things to arrive, and a feeling of the self as amplifying your light. So this is, the angels are actually moving through us. And this is what they say next. I'll read this because this is important. They say, in this partnership, we merge and blend. So they are moving through us, with us, helping us. They are literally part of our energy apparatus at this point. It's in this partnership, we merge and blend, and your feelings are portrayed through our instantaneous expressive nature. So this is how we are doing instant manifestation, is that the angels move through us and they are amplifying our light. So they have an instantaneous expressive nature, angels do. So they are moving through us and amplifying what we are into our world so that we can see ourselves more brightly, more clearly, and more physically. Right? So they are helping us do this. So this is not us by ourselves. This is us plus angels, right? So all the more reason to open our hearts, the field, open our hearts, let them in, right? And they say that here in the beginning about peace in our hearts, which is, they make a place for peace within your hearts, which is the angels. So they want to integrate with us and help us do this. Yeah. We amplify what you are. And the world acknowledges you are here and shows you what you are in golden rays of delightful expression. So this is what what happens when we do this, is that they amplify what we are. The world then reflects it back to us and shows us what we are in golden rays of delightful expression. Thank you. Yes, please. Right? This is amazing. Let this happening be encountered, be revealed, be expressed, be perceived. You are ready. You are ready to receive the blessings of your nature. Yeah. And let's see, Rebecca says, that idea of divine light is so beautiful. I wonder if this is why I have been hearing a message that light workers need to move and spread their light. Yeah, absolutely. And I think that moving and spreading of the light is this idea of the angels working, like us being clear enough, having our hearts open enough, receiving the angels, them partnering with our energy field. And once we are clear enough that we're not going to be expressing our karma into the world, they're going to be expressing through us, pushing that divinity out into the world, right? Helping us to amplify that divinity. And that is then going to help everybody around us. So yeah, 100%. This is all, like, all the messages line up and reinforce each other. Then they say, opening hearts expand and exemplify your internal world. Your beingness is seen by all who are near you. So this is just what you were saying, Rebecca. We love your nature, your expression, your sense of satisfaction in being revealed. And pleasantly surprised, you will find your nature unfolds with graceful abandon. And by abandon, they mean a complete lack of inhibition or restraint. So, like, super, super cool. And yes, there is a to-do in this message. Like, they're definitely telling us the ways that we need to be and experience differently. Like, first of all, they're telling us we need to acknowledge, like, to be aware. We need to in terms of the good things that are happening, we need to focus our attention on those things. They're also telling us that as we are working through these last stages of clearing our karma, to be super, super aware of it and to be in a place where we can set it down by going through these healing processes that we've talked about and that they've given us. So to be super aware of our triggers, to not passively, anytime you feel anything less than good, pay attention. Anytime you feel anything less than loving and clear and peaceful, immediately pay attention and say, what is that? Right? And that doesn't mean like sometimes you're not going to be tired, but pay attention to every trigger. And go into it, try to figure out what it is, lay it down, right? Going through these healing processes. And that clears us so that they can work through us and push more and more of our divine nature into the world. So think about this. It isn't that they can't, like, say, for example, that someone is 80% clear and 20% full of karma. So then the angels can come through and push through that 80%. They can amplify that 80%. But if we get all the way clear, that's like a significant amount more of light. So, and in some cases, if somebody is really working through, like I've known people who are so immersed in their karma that it colors their whole experience. And I think that's probably more often the case. And it becomes like a damper, like over your light. And so there, I think it is a common thing. What I'm trying to say is I think it would be very, very common to say some people are expressing only karma, that they are, or a huge part of karma, like most of what they project into their life is karma. And I think this process of getting clear, it's like if we can get to 80%, that is like, woohoo, like that is amazing to get to 80%, right? And I think if we get to 100%, then we are like the bodhisattva or whatever. We're like, we're on our path to enlightenment. So anyways, but I think that's the real message here is the action items are our awareness. Where are we doing this instant manifestation? Where are things showing up for us in a beautiful way? Where are we seeing karmic patterns resolve for ourselves and for others, witness for others too? And recognize, acknowledge, tell them, hey, I see that this is changing for you. Like tell them, wow, you're really showing up differently this time. Like I just went through that, like with my kids, where I was trying to say, hey, notice this thing you just went through. See how it is an exact parallel to something you went through 3 years ago, but you made a different choice. You behaved differently, and look at how the outcome changed, right? So amazing to see, so amazing. And so because people don't always see their patterns, so draw their attention to it, share it in a lovely, supportive way, but share it because it helps to draw our awareness to it. Yeah. Wow. And Gina saying, seeing everyone at Peace Bathing Sunday. Thank you for mentioning it. We have peace bathing. So for those of you who would like to enhance your current healing practice or who would like to add to your regular healing practice, come and join us on Sunday. It is peace bathing, and the messages are keeping pace, and that is an understatement with what we are going through right now. They are supporting us through this entire ascension journey. The last month's peace bathing was what was amazing about it. They gave us a clearing. The whole session can be used as a clearing. So anytime you feel like you might have gotten, impacted by something. Whenever you're carrying negative energies, you can go back and use that session. So for the peace bathing members, they have access to that. And for those of you who, I may do this, for those of you who decide to join peace bathing this month, I will include the recording of last month's peace bathing because I think it is a very important session. It is, like I said, a clearing method. And I do know that the negative energies in the world right now are very, very active. And so having a process like this that you can listen to when you don't have your own connection, when your own connection is not clear, you can go and use this process to restore your connection. And the guidance from the angels is to use it until it stops working. So use it, and as long as it's making you feel better, it's still working. But I'm going to go ahead and add that. So anybody who is not yet a peace bathing member, if you would like to join, then you will have access to last week's recording. So our last month's recording, which is, I think, a super important tool to get out there into the world. So anyways, thank you guys so much for joining me today. You're saying, Rebecca said the idea that people are only expressing karma feels really true. I know, and it's hard. It's hard to see, isn't it? It's very hard to see. But you just hold them in love and light and do like the angels do, right? All the angels try to do, they don't try to change anybody. They try to whisper in hope. Is all they try to do. They try to, one breath, to make somebody lift their head up out of their karma and see opportunity and see a different perspective, and then let them make the choice. And that's all they try to do, right? No preaching. There's nothing forced about it. It's a breath of new beginnings, right? It's the dawn, a new dawn. So awesome. Thank you so much for sharing this time with me, you guys. I really appreciate you being here. I hope you have a wonderful weekend. I'm sending you lots of love, and I will see you guys next Friday live. Bye, you guys. And Karen says, thank you very much. I just haven't been feeling myself. This session has really helped me shift. I'm so grateful. Thank you, Karen. Blessings to you. Bye, you guys.